Clic. Bro. Ça tue, ça blesse, ça flingue. Hey, hey, hey. Bro.
Welcome back to the BME podcast, the best sports podcast in New Jersey. For those that are listening, you may not see, we have a special guest on tonight. And if you are a part of the Threads community, you guys know this name. Doc Thompson is in the building. He is blessing us on this episode. One of the prominent voices in the NBA Threads community, the WNBA Threads community. And if you into coffee, kittens, you need some beard routines, any information on that regard, this is the man to follow. Doc, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing so well, and it's an honor to be here. And man, I feel like we've been linked up since the very beginning days. How are we going into year 3 of NBA Threads?
Year 3, and it don't feel like year 3. It
Nope.
feel like we, especially some of the relationships that's been built, and I haven't been able to meet too many people in person, but still, just through, I was just talking to Chris Lindsay today, and I'm getting people that's commenting and that's reaching out from Cali. I said, I feel like Ghost off of Power. You're my plug in Cali, because I did not have anybody listening in Cali. And it just goes to show how great the NBA Threads community is. I ain't never meet Chris Lindsay. Never met him in person. Never met you in person. And it's always love on the social media site. You can argue with your mom. I think it's the best social media site out right now.
Yep. You're not going to get any arguments from me.
For you, right? Staying there before we even get into the show. What was your experience hopping on Threads? Why did you decide to go on Threads? And did you foresee, possibly think in your head, that you could be one of the main voices in the NBA, WNBA Threads community? Great at clipping. And when you clip, you give great insight, thoughtful insight. Did you foresee this happening? And what made you even come on to Threads?
Short answer is no, I did not foresee this happening. I didn't even know how to clip when I joined Threads. And I just pieced together that I had a really easy way to do that on my computer. And the running joke for the longest time is that my videos had audio that would drop for so many people. And when I got that figured out, things really got to popping. So I got to Threads because I was tired of toxicity being the main vibe of discourse surrounding the game of basketball that I love. And beyond that, it was just in general, like my social leanings had me in a place where it was really hard to stomach being on X anymore. And so no hate to anyone who, built community there and has reasons to be there. It just wasn't for me. And there's a woman named Sarah Montour Lewis who found a post I made about Andrew Wiggins on one random regular season night in the 2024, I think it was 23-24 season. And through her, and then ultimately through Rush, right? Like, talk about someone who is not gatekeeping community. It was so easy to build positive relationships around the game of basketball and people who treat you like a human being. Like, how about that?
I think that's a huge aspect that we forget in life in general, not even the sports realm, the human aspect of things, humanity. Like, just simple, going back to, I'm sure you've taught your kids and you were taught this growing up, treat others how you would want to be treated. Just a simple golden rule, which I think is often missed in our society. Unfortunately, you see it sometimes in the discourse over stuff that's not that serious.
Right.
I don't think, this is just an example, nobody go crazy. I don't think LeBron is the GOAT. I don't think MJ is the GOAT. I think Kareem is. And in certain spaces, that turns into name calling. It turns into, I'm talking about this. I'm going to find pictures on your page and your kids are ugly. Yeah.
Too much dip on the chip there.
Way too much for you. Even before we even go into some of the, questions on there, I want to go back to the beginning for you. Like, when did you fall in love with the sport of basketball, and what caused you to fall in love with basketball?
I was wearing this at the shop today, and my first professional basketball game I ever went to was on December 23rd, 1997 at the United Center. And I sat 9 rows off the court with my dad and saw Michael Jordan in the Last Dance season. And I complained to my dad. I was like, I can't see because people were standing the entire game, right? And so he went and got us 300 tickets at midcourt, and I watched Jordan drop 47 on the 27th against the Hawks, pass them to go from second to first in the standings, and they remained in first for the rest of the 97-98 season. Rodman had 29 rebounds that night. My mom recorded it on VHS, and I still, like, I go to the basement right now and pull out that tape with, like, the faded, like, heading on the side label. And from there, like, my dad owned a business, and he had access to, dial-up internet. And I would go to NBA.com, and I would print off player profiles and put them in a 3-ring binder so I could read them in my free time at school. So, like, I am a 90s basketball born and bred, came by it honest, and have been disappointed by the Bulls a zillion times then, have given my fair weather loyalties to the Warriors because I enjoy watching the game of basketball. And the Bulls are kind of like that family member that you're still in it with, you just got to be. But that was how I fell in love with the game, is just greatness and the environment at the United Center, and a dad who played college hoops. And, it was easy to catch the fever for basketball at that point.
That's extremely dope. That's like the purest form of falling in love with the game of basketball. And I wish I was alive, but I wish I was able to actually see MJ in person, because how everybody talks about seeing him in person does no justice to what you see on YouTube, what you see in even the documentary. Like the documentary, though, it did give me chills, especially it was done perfectly, done beautifully. Well, according to Scotty, it wasn't done perfectly.
Right.
But for me, especially during COVID, during that time, we're all in, it was done perfectly. And when it was dropped, we were all locked in, talking about it. Gave me chills watching it. I was mad we was in COVID because I'm like, I want to go play some basketball.
Right.
Watching this. So definitely the purest form. And we'll start there. The Bulls, at least, they are off to a 1-0 start. 115 to 111. I did not have them beating the Pistons to start off the season. How did you feel about that first game, and what are you feeling about towards the season for the Chicago Bulls this year?
I think they have philosophical alignment, which is a good thing. I think they've empowered Billy Donovan, and I think that he is a above average to good professional basketball coach. I think that I just don't have a ton of optimism for the roster construction. And that isn't to say that I dislike those players or that they aren't incredible at what they do, the professional basketball players. You look at their roster and you've got a ball dominant guard like Josh Giddey, who's a distributor, but doesn't really got the outside touch, not a great defender. Kobe, one of my favorite hoopers, but not necessarily the strongest individual or team defender on the other side of the ball. Vooch, again, another guy who's excellent at what he does, but he's not great at what he doesn't do. So I don't think, and this is where like my hottest take will come in, I do not think the owners of the Chicago Bulls, namely Jerry Reinsdorf and Michael Reinsdorf, are committed to sincerely competitive basketball. And I think they know they have a cash cow. And there's a reason why they have won one Eastern Conference Finals game since 1998. And we can wash, rinse, repeat whatever way we want to do. And they refuse to commit to tanking at any point in time. So we're always going to have draft pick between 7 and 15. So there are plenty of things to be entertained by. And there's a level of support that I have because they're the Bulls. They're my home state team. But I'm not going to get too high or too low, but just in general, I don't think that ownership level is going to provide this team with what it needs to build a winner over a long period of time. I mean, it's been nearly a decade since Jimmy Butler was traded to the Wolves, and they haven't made it past the first round in that entire time. So, and I don't know if there's a single guy on that roster aside from maybe Matas Buzelis, which we'll talk about this in a little bit, who is going to be a piece worthy of building around. Even though I love Kobe White, like I hope he remains a Chicago Bull. And yeah, so maybe I'm a little bit more critical, but now you're just watching the hurt Bull soul over here being biased.
That's one of the things that is extremely tough when it comes to sports, mainly in the NBA. You don't want to be that team that's consistently a play-in team because you don't give yourself an opportunity to grow through the draft. And unfortunately, the Bulls are one of those teams where it's not a big free agent destination. Great city, a lot of history there, but it hasn't, to your point, it hasn't been anything worthwhile in a while. So you can't even sell them on like, oh, the Bulls franchise and the Bulls history. We haven't seen success there in a minute. I agree with everything you just said regarding the roster construction. But one of the bright spots, obviously, with that roster is Matas. And I think that is somebody that you've heard it throughout the offseason and what his ceiling could possibly be. I think that's somebody that you definitely can build around and can be a number one option. What do you see when you watch him? What's the ceiling that you think could he unlock being with the Bulls?
You know, I don't know because he's so raw, right? But he is very intuitive with his movements and he's a mega athlete and the stroke on the shot looks pretty good. Like he had this play where you could tell, and Stacy said it on the broadcast, there's a guy that's not used to taking 3-point shots a lot yet because he stepped on the 2-point line. But when he caught it in transition and pulled up right away, it just looked smooth, no hitch. And you bring that along with what you've been seeing him doing as a slasher off the ball and his ability to get downhill and just yam on people. I think that, you know, whether he does this on his own time or if the Bulls have brought someone in specifically for skill development, I think that he has raw tools that are worthy of building upon and investing into. So really wide trajectory for him. I could see him being, you know, like a low 20 scorer with elite level defense. That's the type of thing that comes to mind when I watch him play, and maybe he'll exceed our expectations and do even more than that.
I'm intrigued to see how he does because I feel it's like he has the tools to be a possible number one. It's on what they build around him. And if he continues to get better, which it seems like he has that hunger and that desire and that competitive edge to be like, yo, I want to be the best possible. Hopefully, I like what I watch when I watch him. And for Bulls fans like yourself, hopefully they actually do right by him. And we don't see it as a situation where you see flashes, he goes elsewhere, and it's like, yo, we had him on our team. We could have kept him. So hopefully we get to see his fullest potential with the Bulls, especially like we just mentioned. Unfortunately, 6th, 7th, 8th seed this year. It's not going to get you a high pick.
Yeah, I mean, the East is so depleted in a sense, and you still don't even have a ton of confidence that you can see that team ascending even past like the 9 or 10. That's me personally. You saying 6, 7, 8, that sounds very generous, and I hope. But then again, I don't hope for some reasons because then they're like, well, we're going to get those play-in gates, and then we're good. You know, so yeah, maybe not the best content for you, but I be pessimistic Illinois native.
I completely get it. I'm thinking, you know, trying to be super optimistic, balance it out.
Yeah.
Highest level 6, 7, 8. It'll probably be, honestly speaking, that 9, 10. But maybe we just see Matas has that crazy year 2 leap. Kobe continues to shoot the lights out at a higher percentage, and maybe Giddey worked on his shot this summer. Maybe we see that like highest.
I love Iota Sumu too, and that comes with my Champaign native bias. But it's intriguing to watch him come off the bench based off of their roster construction. But I know that he can kind of struggle when people sag off of him a little bit and aren't honoring the full repertoire that I think that he could display. So yeah, there's plenty of things to like and be entertained by, and there's nothing quite like the in-arena experience. Like I'm going to get up to multiple Bulls games this year, of course. So, but yeah, I'm gonna keep my expectations level so I can just enjoy it for what it is.
Speaking of that depleted East, who do you see possibly actually coming out in the East?
Not a lot of data to work with thus far, but I look at the Cavs and the Knicks have been the hot choices. I think there's a world wherein Giannis asserts his dominance, and with a more clear picture of where that roster is going, I think that could go somewhere too. The Magic are a little bit of a dark horse, but I'm not sure if that group has been around. Well, they clearly haven't been around together for long enough for us to know for sure. But the thing that really intrigued me from last evening is watching the Knicks players get subbed out at the end of the game that was in hand. And I know it's just got to be medicine for the soul of Knicks fans. I wonder if Jarrett is listening to this at any point and just going, wow, it's different seeing our players go off the floor at a reasonable time.
It was not one time, I don't think, in the entire Tibbs era where he played 11 players. Mike Brown played 11 players.
Tyler Kolek was cooking.
Yes.
He was.
One of the Knicks fans that I know, not Jared, but another Knicks fan I know, was livid last year that he did not get to play often because he felt like to give Brunson, to have just another option at the guard coming off the bench to help McBride, things of that nature, and he just wasn't playing. It's like, why did we draft him if we weren't going to actually use him in this season? And that was the most ball movement I think we've seen in a Knicks team since Tibbs got there. Yeah, it's actually beautiful basketball.
Mike, the thing I love about him as a coach is how malleable he is. So he has coached several different identities to varying degrees of success over the course of his professional basketball career. And I think it's just necessary because you might have a philosophy going into the season and recognize, well, competitively, there are better ways to take advantage of the league as it exists right now. I also just think that going and solidifying their bench, like seeing Jordan Clarkson out there, like what a positive addition. I think they got Landry Shamet back. And so if they're going to go to that depth, I was a little bit worried to hear about Cat playing on a grade 2 quad strain. Like that's serious. Grade 2 is not like
nothing to play with.
But I like the potential of the Knicks more than anyone else. I think that it could break right for them in a way that is more significant than any other team. I am a little bit lower on the Cavs in the sense that I think Coach Atkinson and then just the way that their team functioned last year in general, they struggled with the shift to postseason play. But then again, the other thing you had to deal with too was just how many injuries they dealt with at the start of the postseason. So, take it with a grain of salt. Donovan Mitchell, I think, this might seem sacrilegious to the Knicks fans, but I think he is the best player among those two teams. But I just haven't seen it in a way that gives me as much confidence. And maybe it's the novelty of the Knicks having made it to the conference finals and they have belief and they took seriously their core and went out and got a new coach. So a bit of rambling on my part, but Knicks and Cavs, boring answers, but I think the right answers. You got anyone else that you would include?
Like you said, I think a dark horse are the Magic, but typically we don't see a brand new team like that with an addition of Desmond Bane. Not brand new, but a big piece like Desmond Bane added there. They don't typically win that first year. The Hawks, same thing. The only thing that's different with the Hawks is it seems like management has told Trae Young essentially, we have surrounded you with the best roster you have. If it doesn't get to a certain level, deep playoff run, second round, third round, we are not giving you that extension. So I think they have more pressure than some of the other teams we just mentioned in regards of, at least for Trae Young. If he wants to stay a Hawk, they're going to have to make a deeper run this year. maybe back to the conference finals at least. I don't know what's being said in that management office, but I think it was a definite message of, hey, we're not extending you before the season. Let's see if we can actually build around you as our number one, and then we'll pay you accordingly.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about, like, he has such, thinking from a game to game level, there are games where it is just magical to watch Trae Young play basketball. And I think what's hard from a playoff standpoint is he is such a heliocentric one-way star that you're always dealing with the deficiencies on defense. You can hide people pretty well. But the thing that's tough is, like, the ball doesn't flow through Trae. The ball goes from Trae to all the other spots. And I'm just intrigued to see how he gels with his roster that's assembled around them, because, like, I agree with you, like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, KP, a healthy Jalen Johnson, reshape coming off from a really solid rookie campaign. Who else am I missing? I mean, Dyson Daniels, like, goodness. So I just, with Trae, he reminds me in a strange way of, like, what we were just watching with Alyssa Thomas in the playoffs. Very, very different body archetypes to the sport, but both of them are players that the ball resides with in such a heavy capacity. So Trae has constantly got this high assist rate, but that is harder to sustain when people can plan for you over the course of a 7-game series.
Exactly. So I think looking at it this year, that's the other thing I think that was huge with getting a Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yes.
You have somebody that else as another shot creator, somebody else that can help. I like to see Trae off the ball a little bit more, like you're saying. Like, it's tough, especially at the point guard position in the NBA, that you have to make all of the decisions or a majority of the decisions. That's a lot, and it's not empowering for the rest of your team.
Nope.
With this type of roster now, I get it. Before, in some previous years, it was Trae Young and Jalen Johnson who got injured. Outside of that, it was the Trae Young show, and we could figure it out. Now you have some more people that, in the same sense, when you think about, like, Kobe, what he said, he had to learn of, like, I got to trust my teammates. I have better teammates to trust.
Yep.
Trae, you have teammates to trust this year. Please trust them so we could see you stay in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's another spot where it's not as fun as people, love Atlanta and the nightlife. It's not the biggest free agent destination.
Right.
So definitely somebody that shoots just as well as Trae, does a better job at playing point guard, as somebody that he actually went to his camps growing up, Steph Curry. They start off the season with a win against my Lakers. Hurt my heart to have to see it, and Threads did not help, because when I was clicking on gifts to try to send gifts, they had the first 6 was the night, and I'm like, y'all just gotta rub it in. But you have both of your teams start off 1-0.
Yep.
How did you feel about the Warriors, and what's their ceiling? Because I saw even Monica McNutt after the game said this could be a team that goes out and wins the finals. Steven Jackson even said the lineup of Steph, Kuminga, Horford, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond, he trusts that 5 more than any 5 in the Western Conference to get to the finals.
I think the caveat is, like, the age piece, right? However, they played a remarkably sustainable brand of basketball in that opening game. And what I mean by that is, it's not necessarily that, well, it certainly won't be that Jimmy gets 16 free throw attempts every night, although amazing what even him being on the team has done to condition the officials to notice contact on other players on the team. I think that has more to do with that race than anything else, but they won with Steph playing 32 minutes and shooting 3 for 9 from 3. And 2 of their best rotation wings have not even joined the team yet, in Moses Moody and DeAnthony Melton. There were so many good things to track. I love that they, have found a way to do the Kumbaya dance with Kuminga, and that, like, he didn't get what he wanted. I was pretty vocal about saying I didn't think he deserved what he was asking for based off of the state of the market and what other people have been paid. But what he came out and did on night one was have and again, nerdy stats, but rebounding percentage, 16.6. That would have been top 20 in the NBA in 24-25. Assist percentage was like 29.8. That would have been top 20 in the NBA in 24-25. So when I watch his activity pursue the basketball and the way that the ball was flowing through him, he was taking appropriate shots. He took 6 threes, which is more than he's probably going to take regularly. But when you watch the threes that he took, they were good threes. And he was more decisive with his movement with the ball or just getting the ball off of him. And he was trying against Luka. No one was going to stop Luka. He was a wizard. But Kuminga could get paid $35 million plus by the Warriors playing the way that he just played. If he had played this way, and he was starting to play this way before his injury last year, this wouldn't have been a discussion. But whether this is him bumping his stock for a key trade or him becoming the best version of himself, he is a ceiling increaser unlike anyone else on that roster. So long way of me saying I absolutely think this team could win the NBA Finals on paper. And based off of the style of basketball they played, I am going to see if we can stack healthy games, and we'll go from there. But this is a Steve Kerr roster, and Steph is engaged with his teammates, and Draymond is engaged with his teammates, and Jimmy is engaged with his teammates, like guys who believe they have something special there.
Watching it as a Lakers fan, I feel they're in a way better position. And yes, LeBron didn't play, but I've been one of the people that's vocal that has been saying I did not like the roster construction of the Lakers coming in. Don't think there's enough shooting. I don't think they really have their big situation figured out. Mm-hmm. Hey, we all root for a reclamation project, but based off of that first game and some of the stuff Aiden is saying afterwards, I'm sometimes a confusing big. Look, whatever we get from them this year, it'll be a Luka MVP level type of year, but I don't see them winning the finals. The Warriors, though, yeah, Kuminga is the hugest X factor. And I've said this: if Kuminga plays how he played game one, and he's motivated and he's locked in, and is like, look, it is what it is. Business didn't work out. I still have a job to do, and if I do my job well, somebody's going to pay me. Whether it's Golden State, whether it's the Washington Wizards, somebody is going to give me my money. And if you help also get to a deep playoff run, maybe even a finals win, trust and believe. And I know your pops told you this, and I know you heard it growing up. Winning cures all. If we all win, then we all could eat. Whether it's with the same team or a different team, you have a title, that means something.
It does.
And that would be multiple titles for him. You would get paid, Kuminga. You would get paid, especially being part. We saw it with Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole got paid. Hasn't worked out since really as much, but
he got his bag.
You got your money. So I definitely like what I saw from them, especially like you said, you got a game where Steph only got to play 32 minutes. Yep. I love the deepness of the roster too. Gary Payton, I love that they brought him back.
Yes.
Gary Payton is one of the best glue guys, one of the best role players in the NBA. Pod's really good. And they said they're going to be bringing back Seth Curry as well. So that's even more additional shooting. Mm-hmm. That's more depth. That's more of an opportunity to be like, hey, Steph don't have to play these many minutes. Mm-hmm. Maybe Melton, he don't have to rush back coming from the injury. They're a deep team.
Yep.
And Kuminga's still going to be an X factor because, like you said, the rest of the roster obviously is kind of old. But if Kuminga, being a young dog on that team, him, Pods, Gary Payton, mm-hmm. the younger pieces, Moody, they have the perfect mix of vets mm-hmm. and the youth to be like, all right, we know how to get there. We've been to the mountaintop. We need y'all to carry us through the regular season. Let's just get there.
Now, so Warriors hipster social media thing for you, I'm going to put everyone onto Will Richard. This man has been playing a level of intelligent basketball that like has Steve Kerr saying things like it looks like he's played 7 years in the NBA already, which, you know, like Steve is just looking for reasons to compliment like good role player stuff. But man, I've done evenings in the preseason where I had a file on my computer and it was like 12 different plays that Will Richard made that were or won't box score metrics that were winning play related. That man has a nose for the ball. His body position is great. The way that he spaces the floor, he is aware of the floor game at all the times. And from my own subjective eye, I think I see his vets recognizing his basketball intelligence in real time and recognizing that they have like a sincere weapon in, I think he was the 56th pick into the draft this year. And he comes from Florida where they just won a national championship. So like he knows what it is in terms of like what winning culture is. So I have a lot of overreaction game one optimism. We'll see what they do with like if Valanciunas plays tonight, them having to go up against Valanciunas and Jokic is I'm very interested to see tonight how that goes.
Most definitely, because that's another team in the West, different from our conversation in the East. The West is extremely loaded. Mm-hmm. You, of course, have the reigning champs who literally brought back everybody. Mm-hmm. And that roster is set to stay the same for the next 3 to 4 years, at least with your main core pieces.
Yeah.
Denver got better. Mm-hmm. Even the Clippers got better. I mean, you know, we got the situation figuring out what's going on with Kawhi, and today's been a day of investigations. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens over there with that. But the entire West really got better. So I think it's one of the years, too. Like, if you make it out the West, getting that and you win, getting that title is you're going to go through a gauntlet to get there. Mm-hmm. Versus the East, it may not be that same thing. So you're going to be battle tested by the time you get to the finals. One of the other teams where I don't know if they make it to the finals, but they have one of already the best players in the league. When you talk about best players under 25, when you talk about just best players in general, Victor Wembanyama. We had all of the hype coming in, you know, through the summer. He's working out with KG. He's hanging out with the Shaolin monks. Mm-hmm. He's talking to Hakeem. He's over here doing swimming. He's over here getting his hair cut. It was a Wemby flurry of news through entire summer. Game one, he did not disappoint. He did not disappoint.
I mean, 40, 15, 3 blocks, no turnovers, 15 to 21 from the field. Anyone can get it. Anyone can get it from any spot on the floor. He did everything, I think, is fair to say.
Yes.
Do you think he has like a USB port where he just like downloads basketball data and is just like, hey, like tonight we're going to add this to the bag? I swear that's what it's like watching him is he's just like, you know what? I thought about this. I'm going to try this. But
literally
the handle reminds me so much of KD's because he's so lanky, but like he gets that ball tight and low to the floor. He is such a student of the game, and it would even be unfair to call him like a workhorse. He is more just like he's like a young savant. He's just coming to realize what his natural intellect and abilities and hard work together can do. First team All-NBA this season, bare minimum. And we'll see, you know, he is unlike any player who has ever played the game of basketball.
It's so scary because we were having these conversations not to this extent when we saw KD, when we saw LeBron. Mm-hmm. The way that the game of basketball as a whole is just evolving globally. The scary thing is we might see some form of this in another 15, 20 years. That's like the way that we talking about Wemby. We said this with even going back, KG coming out of high school, Amari Stoudemire coming out of high school like a man-child. Wemby surpasses all of them, and nobody in their wildest dreams could have been thinking that we would see somebody like Wemby. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're never going to see another KD. Cool, we won't see another KD. We'll see him on steroids, a little bit taller. It's wild. And year 3.
Yeah, someone described him, and because you think Kareem's the GOAT, you'll appreciate this. Someone was like, if there was a basketball child that combined the powers of Kareem and KD, that's Wemby. And I'm like, yeah. There was this play where Cooper Flag dribbled down hard at the bucket, and Wemby was just standing there. He hadn't even raised his arms, and Cooper took the ball and turned around and dribbled back out the lane. This is the #1 draft pick. That's like a dude who played in the national championship game, right? Like, he's got grown men acting like, no, I'm not going to try dad.
Literally, even we saw that from day one when he came to the league. Especially guards. Nah, they were doing the Allen Iverson, the Chris Paul. We just going to dribble around in a circle. Hopefully something opens up. Hopefully something opens up. I mean, and I think the thing that's great to see this year, I feel at points last year with the Spurs, it seemed like they was almost competing with Wemby in a sense of he should have got the ball way more. He should have been more of the focal point. And it seemed like, and it rightfully so, I get it, because it's a young team as a general. So it's that tough balance of understanding, like we were talking about earlier. If we win, we all look good, we all eat. But you have some players that have the selfish but right mindset of like, I want to have a certain level. I view my career in a certain way. And playing with Wemby, a lot of players aren't going to be able to do their type of solo career that they want. This is about Wemby. And I think if they play with this formula throughout the rest of the year, again, it's game 1. Don't want to go to the extreme of, oh, they're going to win a championship. Not saying that.
Right. No. But just appreciating what a majestic thing it is that we're witnessing. Like, at a certain point, there's the predictions, there's the projections, but like appreciation. When we were talking about NBA threads earlier, I think that's something that's made this distinct community is there are more people just appreciating wonderful basketball in the moment and surrendering the outcomes in the past and just being fixated on what's good right in front of us. And I think it's what we got to do with Wemby, because like these are the 1980s Michael Jordan highlight clip compilations happening in real time. Like the type of stuff when I watched that as a kid and just go, oh my God, how was he in the same league as these people? Like we're seeing the origin stories of that now. And yeah, I'm with you. Like, did you see the play where Devin Vassell got past his defender and had like a little 17-foot jumper that he could have taken? He took one more dribble and threw it up on top of the square, and Wemby got a dunk. And what you were talking about with competing, like Vassell can hoop, and he's made over 9 figures now in his career in future projected contracts. He's even starting to recognize, now, wait a second. Hold on now, you know?
Exactly. And if you are feeding him the rock, it's going to make the defense have to adjust, and it makes it easier for everybody. And Wemby is not, it kind of reminds me of, like you said, the combo of Kareem and KD in regards of KD is a willing passer.
Yes.
KD, which for me sometimes, and maybe you feel the same, with how good KD is at scoring, I want him sometimes to actually shoot it more. The end of that game, the opening night, I get it. You're trying to instill confidence in Amen. Don't give it up to Amen. No. I want you go win the game, but he has made it clear on multiple instances he wants to play the game the right way, which you have no choice but to appreciate that.
Yeah.
Same with Wemby. I think the Spurs players are starting to realize as a whole, and I love what the coach is doing too, obviously with the battery in his back from Pop. Hey, we get Wemby the ball, we get Wemby going. It's going to open lanes and make it easier for all of us. We get into the lane, like you say, I got the 17-footer. If I take an extra dribble, I could get it to Wemby, or I'm going to be open regardless because nobody wants to come off of Wemby. You got to box him out just in case you do miss, so he doesn't get the offensive rebound. It's such a conundrum. I do not envy none of the defensive coaches in the NBA that have the game plan for this man, because I don't see what you could really do.
I think what's going to happen is he's going to have this like mega ascendance, whether or not it culminates in a playoff series this year or next year. The thing that's going to happen is someone's going to play junk defense on him, and we're going to see what he's made of. When someone really like, basically, you're going to need someone who's like Lou Dort, but 8 inches taller. Like I don't know who it's going to be, but someone's going to be remarkably physical with him, and they're going to stack their roster to just try to wear him out. And I'm interested to see what's going on between the ears of Victor Wembanyama and his poise when that time comes. He seems like a remarkably unbothered individual.
Yes. Yes, even I loved his response. Well, I loved all the responses on opening night, and they asked him about when's the last time you watched NBC. He laughs like, I wasn't alive.
Yes. No, for him, truly not. Like, what was the last finals on NBC? Like 2004 or 5?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Like he really was maybe 1 year old.
Literally. So I think he's such a lovable personality too, off the court. From what we've seen, obviously we don't know him personally, but from everything that we've seen so far, interviews and how he's so kind with signing autographs and talking to fans. Somebody, again, that's hard to not root for. I'm not a Spurs fan. I don't want to see them win a title before the Lakers do.
Yep.
But I appreciate what we are watching with Victor Wembanyama. And you made a great point. This is literally like, I don't think sometimes we realize that because we're in the social media era and we're in we got it now. It's happening like clockwork. That we're literally witnessing what kids are going to be talking about decades from now, and we're seeing it now. It's going to be somebody on social media like, he wasn't that good, and we're gonna have to be like, hey, I saw him personally.
No, people be talking out the side of their neck, and you just have to be like, there's a better way, right? And again, I know I keep bringing this back to the NBA Threads Love Fest, but like what you're saying is like, hey, I love the Lakers. I don't want to see excellent basketball players not thrive. Like, you can have it both ways, and what I've found is actually increased my appreciation for the game to just appreciate good players, especially when they're on teams that I don't want to win.
Most definitely. And again, you are well versed in both sides, NBA, WNBA. On the WNBA side, man, we've seen all the discussions that pay the players what they deserve. We've seen the rumors that it might be a work stoppage. Based off of what you know and the knowledge that you have and the research you've done and the articles you've read and all the videos that you have shared with the Threads community, for those that may not be on Threads, for those may not be up to date on what's going on, what would a work stoppage do to the W as a whole and to the players if it does happen? I'm hoping, I know it's not likely,
right?
But by the 31st, they actually renegotiate a new deal. If not, do the extension, and maybe by the extension, they get the deal done. But just in case that does not happen, what would a work stoppage do?
I don't think it's good for women's basketball for there to be a work stoppage per se. I think that the issue is that players are being treated like some sort of appendage of the WNBA organization rather than partners. And it shows in, even like Adam Silver was on NBC today. And I respect Adam's business acumen and everything that he's done to expand the reach of basketball globally. And you could already tell he is not speaking the same language as the WNBA players. The WNBA players are not unwise to what's going on here. They understand that there is a $2.2 billion TV deal that's coming down the line. They understand that just this past year, 3 NBA owners lined up to give $250 million apiece to get into the WNBA business. They're aware that merch sales are up. I think I read somewhere up like 500% this year over the previous year. And so the NBA, WNBA conglomerate can but for so long say, oh, out there in the future, you'll get your paper. It's just not how it works. They were paying in the 1970s max NBA players $375,000. WNBA max salary is like $228, a super max. And people don't understand how unsuccessful an enterprise the NBA was when they were giving their best players that money in the 70s too, from a business standpoint. Tape delays, crowds that were less than half full. So what will happen, I think personally, I hope it doesn't happen. I do think some type of work stoppage or long retracted negotiation is on the horizon. I think what people are going to realize writ large is that fans care so much more about the humanity of the athletes in the WNBA than any other sports league I've ever seen. So if you think for a minute that fans are going to miss the WNBA, I mean, they will, but they will go wherever the players go. They will get a streaming package to watch EuroLeague hoops or the women's NBL in Australia, or they'll expand Unrivaled and gladly support that. Or they'll lean in more to college women's hoops where these stars are being cultivated and are infusing all kinds of popularity into the league. So there needs to be investment that is sincere from the WNBA owners. And I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but a functional 9% split of revenue is, as one fan showed at a sign at a Valkyries game, it said 9% is exploitative, and you could see the camera pan away real fast because this was something that showed up in my replies too, which the little tin hat on for a second, but this isn't even anything but my personal experience. I was at the Chicago Sky game and I held up a sign that says, pay them what you owe them. And they had me on the screen and like really fast. So like, the fans are booing the crap out of Kathy. When I've wore pay them what you owe them every WNBA game I've gone to this year, and the amount of people that come and just like want to engage around that conversation, I just think there is a poor analysis from the NBA WNBA entity of what the fan pulse actually is and what it'll actually take to grow the game to be the mega profitable thing that everyone wants. It's like they want to juice everything they can out of this without the sincere investment that's necessary to validate that they have the best basketball players in the world there. So I think it will cause fans to be even more loyal to the players. So I think the WNBA better figure out what pill they can swallow and do it and keep it moving and let this league continue to grow because the players have a ton of leverage.
Yeah, that's the great way to really sum it up. What pill are you willing to swallow? This is what happens in negotiations regardless. Whatever business you're in, both sides have a pill that they have to swallow that they may not want. Maybe it's on the player side. It's like, hey, we got to keep the amount of games. But maybe it's like, let's stretch it out to give no back-to-backs and things of that nature. And the thing that I think people got to keep in mind, like even on that conversation, well, the NBA has back-to-backs. Women's bodies is not set up the same. Like they're telling, the WNBA players are telling you, like, no, our bodies can't support this. Our bodies are not meant for this level of taxing. Hey, we have had the most injuries that we've seen in a while in a season, in a postseason. And that can literally be looked at that, hey, we had more games than we've ever had. I don't know if it actually went to 7, what we would have seen in the finals. I don't know if the Aces stay completely healthy. We saw Dana Evans talk about I was on one leg essentially.
And do you see the picture of her surgery?
Yeah, it looks.
It's crazy. So she's already like had the reparative surgery. Like that woman went out there and was a warrior, and the finals bonus was I think $11,000 to win the finals. Like these women are out here hooping at the highest level for the love of the game and for the legacy of women's hoops, and we need to honor that.
Yeah, because we really just, if we want to get down to the humanity aspect, how many people in this world would do what they're doing for what they love?
Mhm.
Not many. At some point, you would say as well, "Hey,
Mhm.
I need a little bit more something. I
Yeah.
need." And the biggest part is for them, which I agree, because it's kind of been secretive on
Mhm.
the financials being released from the WNBA, NBA side of what exactly is coming in every single year, the exact number. Because 9%, I don't care if it's 2 billion, 9% is still wild. And they've made it clear, like, we're not asking for SGA's contract.
Yep.
It's the revenue share.
Yep.
And that goes to what you said. You giving me a higher revenue share lets me know that you view us as partners,
Mhm.
because we're sharing in the revenue that we're both able to create. You are doing on the back end to get us the TV deals, but I have to actually, as the product, make sure I'm putting out the best thing on the court. I'm getting better in the off season.
Mhm.
I'm making sure that we repeat as champions. All of those different type of things.
Mhm.
That lets me know it's a partnership. Neither can do it by themselves, even though Unrivaled should be. I was appalled when Kathy basically like poo-pooed at them, like, you should be, again, if you're partners, hey, what did y'all do to make it a success?
Mhm.
What can we apply to our marketing? What
Mhm.
can we apply to having the players feel more comfortable? What
Mhm.
can we do? Our players are saying, this is the best I've ever been treated. This is the most I've ever made. This is such a great experience. And she just poo-pooed at it, which was like, that alone told me before the season started, before Nafisha did what she did,
Mhm.
that let me know already. All right, she don't respect the players.
So the thing that Unrivaled is revealing is how fraught the structure of the WNBA is. And the WNBA is owned by so many different entities. 42% outright by the NBA, 42% by the WNBA owners, 16% from a capital investment group. Well, here's the issue is 13 of the 18 WNBA franchises have direct ties to NBA ownership. Some of it is littler, some of it is complete, like the Mercury and the Suns are the same governmental institution, right? Um, so the stranglehold that the NBA has on the WNBA is not healthy for the autonomous flourishing of women's basketball. And they're either going to have to restructure to make it more simple, or people with influence and authority and privilege are going to have to say, hey, I'm going to make this a more equitable solution, and it's going to hurt now, but I'm independently wealthy enough to let that happen. And 10 years down the line, when we have invested in this the way that we should, we're all going to reap the benefit. The money in professional sports has never been in profitability year to year. It's in the cash out. Is when you can sell a franchise for $10 billion. Like, who cares? Like, if you've got independent wealth and other ventures, the point is to build up an asset. And then if you realize you want to cash out, do it. Like, and that's the other frustrating thing is, so the Mohegan tribe says, hey, we want to cash out. And the Pagliuca group comes in and says 325 million record sale, and the WNBA doesn't let it go through because it's not a group that is affiliated with an active NBA franchise. Now, these are my opinions, how I'm piecing things together. These are tea leaves that are coming to me in different ways. But I is some funny business up there, and the players are not as aloof as, well, they're not aloof at all, like the WNBA brass, which is functionally the NBA wants them to believe. So I know that was a ramble, but I'm going to keep saying that stuff till I'm blue in the face. Is the smoke that we have for Kathy Engelbert, we gotta pump that right toward Adam Silver, because the NBA has the WNBA in a stranglehold that is keeping it from becoming the flourishing basketball powerhouse that I know it can be.
Yeah, um, I agree. Adam Silver needs some of that smoke, which I think at some point we'll see people start to understand fully that aspect of it. It's not just Kathy. It's not just the WNBA. It's a bigger thing. It's a lot of hands within that,
Yeah.
which is why I asked you. So it's no rambling. This is why I asked you for my listeners to get that knowledge.
So Kathy reports directly to Adam. I don't think people understand that. Her title is commissioner because the NBA wanted the WNBA to be perceived as more reputable. Everyone who held Kathy's chair before her was a president. Okay. Additionally, Adam and the NBA have enough shares in the board of governors in the WNBA that if they want things a particular way, they can all caucus together and get whatever the heck they want. The only independently owned WNBA teams are the Aces, the Sky, the Connecticut Sun, the Atlanta Dream, and the Seattle Storm. Every other franchise has direct ties to NBA ownership, and it shows in the way that the league governs itself and makes decisions.
100%. And to your point with that, it's like people gotta remember, and I heard some people, and I get it, but it shows to, again, not having the knowledge on everything and how these leagues are ran.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they need to get Kathy fired. And I said to a couple people I talked to personally, I said, it's not happening. She's not getting fired. It's the same thing that you see in the business world. A lot of HRs departments don't work for the employees. They work for the employer to make sure we're keeping the employer out of trouble. That's the same thing. Kathy, Adam Silver, Roger Goodell, all of them work for the owners of these teams. And if the owners don't have no complaints about Kathy, Kathy will be there until they feel, nah, we gotta get rid of you. We don't want you here. But it's been the players that's been the only ones vocal in regards of her leadership, in regards of Adam Silver. So I don't think we're going to see a change, unfortunately, on that front.
I think the thing that the NBA, WNBA enterprise underestimates is that the players don't just think this is a Kathy Engelbert problem. They are aware that these are structural issues that need structural solutions. And to just be like, oh, like, we'll give you like a substantial salary raise. It's like, well, thank you. But like, I actually want part of the earning potential of this enterprise as it scales. Like, that's how business works. So, you know, you can keep treating them like they don't have MBAs and they don't have master's degrees and they all didn't go to 4 years of college at prestigious institutions and they don't have a players union that is working with other players unions. But I just think that this is going to be more and more of a revealing of the players knowing what they're worth and them standing on business. And I don't have like any inherent disdain for our for the NBA or anything like that. It's just a matter of, hey man, like they happen to be the institution that's in the way of equity becoming a real thing for the players.
Most definitely. Looking at the off season, whether whether they negotiated or not, there are some players that if there's going to be a work stoppage or not, whenever they do come back, hopefully no work stoppage, that's what we're hoping for. There's going to be a lot of possible movement in the WNBA whenever the offseason starts. Is some big names out of there. I'm not going to go through all of the names, obviously. I'm going to mention a couple of names. We're going to play a little game of like, do they stay or do they go?
Okay.
Kelsey Plum, does she stay or does she go?
I think she's going to stay. I think that she made an intentional move to LA. And so regardless of how things shake out, I think that's good for the continuity of that franchise to have her there next year.
Alyssa Thomas.
I think she stays as well. I think that the thing that the Mercury have as a competitive advantage is that Matt Ishbia has been investing in that franchise and they understand what it's like to be treated like professional athletes there. And I think they have a lot of things to learn from it as a core. What I think is going to happen, and this is just speculation, I think people are going to want to hitch their wagon to the Mercury train. I think that people are coming to join AT and Ka, not them leave there.
Do you think, just with Alyssa Thomas, do you think this is the summer that she should, well, this offseason, this is the offseason that she should go get the surgery on the shoulders? I'm outside looking in as a basketball fan, I've separated my shoulder as well before. Not both.
Yeah.
I feel being that what we mentioned earlier, how much she has the ball.
Mhm.
If she was a little bit more of a versatile offensive threat in regards of being able to shoot,
Mhm.
knock down a free throw consistently, it would help unlock even another level for them. But that's just me. Do you think she should finally get that surgery?
It's hard to tell. I think the thing that immediately comes to mind is reconstructing a jump shot after 12 years of playing with a physical limitation seems like there's no guarantee that you're going to get the return for your investment in that surgery. So I don't. I'll answer it in a non-answer way. I don't think she will. Is the answer I'll give.
I don't think she will either. I just watching the finals, as an Aces fan, I'm watching it again for the appreciation of it. I'm like, she's getting into the paint, she's getting to the mid range, and there were situations where she would get stuck
Yep.
because she's not a threat to do that, or she'll shoot it, but it doesn't look that comfortable. It looks actually painful often. I'm looking even as again somebody that separated my shoulder
Yeah.
myself,
Oh yeah.
just off the
Yeah.
comfortability.
Yeah.
Please go get the surgery. But you made a great point. That long in the league, you would have that would be a long off season because now you're trying to reconstruct a jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
If she does do it, maybe we give a call to lethal shooter. He could shoot gummies into
Into the water bottle. Boom.
so maybe that's somebody you give a call to. Another name, does she stay or does she go? Kelsey Mitchell.
She stays. They value her too much, and they have been vocal in their adulation of her. They are going to give her whatever she wants whenever that comes to pass. They'll throw a blank check at her, and she will get as much money as she can possibly get. And I think that's what she'll want too. I'm so boring. Have I said stay for every single person so far?
It's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
All right, I named that. It might be something different. I feel. She had concerns. She didn't like how she's being treated with the Storm. She wanted a certain amount of money as well. She gets a title going to the Aces. Does she stay or does she go? Jewel Lloyd.
I also think she's going to stay. They just have a special interpersonal environment in Las Vegas. And so I think Jewel will look at it from a standpoint of like, next year she's going to make more money than she has in her WNBA career, no matter what. And I don't think she will want to forego the chance to run it back again. I think starting the season with Jewel on the bench like they did for their last however many games of the year will also give her an opportunity to, like, if you're just even talking about how people transition from their prime to their post prime to whatever they want to do after hoop, I think this is a perfect place for Jewel Lloyd. And I can't guarantee that one of these new expansion teams won't try to supermax her and be like, hey, we want you to be the Jewel Lloyd that set the WNBA scoring record for a single season. But I personally do not think she will move. Yeah, the thing is crazy, though, is all but two of the veterans that aren't on rookie contracts are free agents. So when we talk about names, like there's literally, I think it's Kalani Brown and Lexi Brown are the two names that are not free agents in the entire WNBA.
Yes, you got Stewie out there, Asia's out there, but those are names that we obviously believe they're going to stay. Sabrina's out there as well. Jonquel Jones. Jonquel Jones might be a name that moves. Do you think Jonquel comes back to the Liberty?
I wonder how the Liberty players feel about this Brondello situation, because now she's going to go coach the Tempo and be happy. And they had one super injury plagued season and got rid of their best coach in franchise history. So I'm intrigued to see. I know they're building their practice facility and whatnot, and so they also have that advantage, like the Mercury do, of treating their players well. But I would bet that one of the big three is not back. Jonquel being the most likely.
Yeah, I can see Jonquel being the most. up and down season again as a team, very injured. They had players that had to go overseas. It was a very odd season for them. You had to even start off the season with Nigel Laney. She wasn't there, but Nigel Laney Hamilton, she wasn't there. So it was a weird season from the jump for the
Yes.
Liberty, and it was going to be a lot to actually go back and repeat. It's very hard in sports in general, but in the W,
Yep.
it's hard to repeat. And the Aces learned that firsthand. It's hard to repeat. So as an Aces fan, hopefully they bring back. I know it's tough. You got to bring back Chelsea, Jewel, all of them got to get paid. Jackie Young, they all deserve.
Is Melissa a free agent too? Did she come to the end of her rookie deal now? This was year 4 for her, right?
I think so.
I think they got to figure out her situation too. So
It's a lot they got to figure out. This whenever the offseason does happen, the team could look very differently, or it could be, hey, let's run it back for 1 year, and then everybody could get paid after that. Very intrigued to see how it goes. But to your point again, also the interpersonal, they raved on how Asia's leadership skills evolved this season. So they could all come back for the love of each other and just say, let's run it back again. Arike, does she stay or does she go?
Well, she's going. I forget. I haven't seen. I heard that they did hire a coach. I didn't see the name of who they hired. I think it's just like a clarity thing. I personally think that Dallas should have tried to cash in on some capital for her at the trade deadline, even if it was just like a draft pick. I thought she would have been a great fit on the Chicago Sky. I would have loved to have seen someone who can handle the ball, produce shots. The Sky struggled so much with just getting up quality shots this year because they did not have players that their game was catered to like individual creation when a possession breaks down. So Arike, yes, I think she will be elsewhere. Where that is, I do not know. I could see her being the type to look out on the horizon. And I'm just interested to see what she commands on the market. Who would want to throw a supermax at her? Or obviously, I think a supermax has to come from your team that you're already on. So a max contract. I would love to see her hitch her wagon to like Nafisa Collier or Alyssa Thomas.
That would be a crazy combo. Both would make it easier for her. Dallas wasn't in the best situation coaching wise, and the roster for them, and it was a little bit, I think, a little confusing and trying to figure out Paige and her at the same time. She isn't the most efficient scorer.
Right.
You get with Alyssa Thomas, you're gonna get some open shots. It's gonna be easier for you. So her efficiency could go up because it'll be easier shots, easier open lanes, things of that nature. I think it would have been perfect this year, as you said, in Chicago, because I get it. They didn't bring her back, but she's in China doing her thing, balling. But you needed to bring that scoring back in some way, shape, or form, and they did not do that. I got 2 names for you before we end off. Again, I thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Dejanay Carrington. Does she stay or does she go?
I think she goes. And not because she had a poor experience in Minnesota, but just because there will be lots of opportunities for her to slot in. And, you know, she could continue to play a supportive role on links. I do think someone will come to her and be like, hey, we want you to be our lockdown 2-3, and we want you in the starting lineup. We want you to play 28 to 32 minutes a game. And I don't think she's going to get that in Minnesota. So that is my guess, is that she will be elsewhere.
Last name, one of my favorite players going to back when she was at Notre Dame, Skylar Diggins. Does she stay or does she go?
That is such a mystery, because like there was like some odd moments where like she was doing like a very sincere and emotional like apology to NECA. Did you see that at that one earlier in the year? And I couldn't tell like if there had been some stuff that was like not quite off the floor related, but you know how you get into a competitive season as athletes. And I mean, I obviously had not played professional basketball. I did play college basketball, and there'd be times where you just be beefing with people, you know. And Skylar strikes me as someone who wants to win so bad that it sometimes causes harm interpersonally. And that isn't to say she should like tamper down her competitive spirit. It just is. She's done well both years there. Yeah, I don't know. I could see her in a similar way to Tiffany Hayes, how she was kind of like the core piece for the Valkyries. I could see Skylar being like the core veteran, like big name piece for either the Tempo or the Fire. But other than that, it's a big IDK. But if I were to say one or the other, I think more likely to leave than to stay.
I will end off with our fourth quarter segment.
Hey.
I am a foodie myself. I love to eat food. I love to cook food. So I ask every single guest that's been on a food related question for you. One food item or meal that you feel is underrated and one that is overrated.
Oh, I'm gonna do my underrated one, and maybe it's not even that underrated, but like I am a dessert person, and I don't know if you're into the butter cake at all. You know what I'm talking about when I say butter cake?
Yes, sir.
I feel like we need to put more respect on butter cake as just like a dessert that really is just like top flight. Like I feel like brownies and cookies are out here doing their thing, but like if you're gonna stand those up next to butter cake, I'm going to choose butter cake every time and go into a food coma. So the thing that I think is overrated, and this is the thing that will maybe harm my reputation with people. I don't know why you would ever choose bone-in wings over boneless wings.
My wife would love you.
Like, look,
I'm a bone-in guy. She is boneless every day of the week.
Hey, and I'm aware they are adult chicken nuggets, and I don't care. I'm gonna stand 10 toes down. You know what? I might go to Wingstop right after this and get a hot honey rub boneless wing meal deal with the lemon pepper fries, and I'm not gonna be ashamed about it at all. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm just gonna know, hey, I did that.
All right, star bench cut. Asia Wilson, Candace Parker, Brianna Stewart.
I'm starting Asia. I'm benching Stewie. I'm cutting Candace.
We have the next 5 years, which you kind of already answered this, but I'm going to ask just for the purpose. Next 5 years, you've been around as the Bulls. You're the GM. You actually get to be in the decision-making chair. Who are you building around, Josh Giddey or Matas Bazelis?
I think it's going to be Matas, and it's going to be both of them, frankly, because I don't think anyone's going to want to take Giddey on for the $25 million slot. So I think they're going to grow together. It'd just be a matter of like, what does that look like? They're bought into both of those guys, and you know, to their credit, like stand on it. He's your guy, pay him. But I just think Matas has, he won't be the ball handler, in my opinion, that Josh Giddey is. But I think that he has more upside just as an athlete and as a defender that will make him the person worth building around as a sustainable piece of winning culture.
NBA Finals prediction.
I'm just going to send it. Warriors Knicks.
Hey, Jared's going to like that. Jared's going to like that.
And could you just like, I don't know, maybe the NBA just takes off the mask like Scooby-Doo and it's like, you know what? We are rigging stuff. We want the Warriors and the Knicks. Illegal sports betting? Who cares? We're just going to entertain. We're the WWE NBA. I don't believe in any of that, just to be clear, although some people passionately do. But
Yeah.
I think that there are better teams in the Warriors, obviously, but I'm going to allow myself to make a heart pick.
I can definitely see that happening on both sides, Warriors and Knicks. Jarrett has the Knicks in the finals as well. So
Okay.
we shall see. This is, I think, one of their best opportunities in the last decade to get there. So hopefully they take advantage of that. And it's tough because Mike Brown's rookie season with the Knicks and its finals
Yeah.
or bust, essentially. And it's not any fault to him.
No. I just think it's the way that the league is broken out with Tyrese and Tatum out for the entire year. I could really see it. And I could also be sitting here 20 minutes into the Warriors game and the Nuggets could be thumping them right now. I don't even know. I haven't checked my phone. But I'm just going to pick with my heart.
And we will end off with, I had to say this question for last.
Okay.
Your favorite 2 or 3 moments being on Threads. And I know that's tough. To choose if you had to. Favorite couple moments being on Threads.
Man, Jim Muncho, you know who I'm talking about? He'll be out here a lot of the time.
Yes, sir.
I remember when I was clipping Bulls games and he started like replying and engaging. And that's just one of my favorite people on Threads. Super authentic and kind and just knows what he stands for. So if I could like encapsulate all the ways that I've met all of our OGs of Threads, those would all be moments. Jim was just the first one that came to mind. The other one was like through Threads, I met Lex and she invited me to the Run It Back event. And that was just like so special. All-Star 2024 in Indianapolis for the NBA. I got to meet Dan and I got to meet Detroit basketball, Johnny K, who's more in the blue sky streets these days. But yeah, and when I went out to the East Coast for vacation earlier this year, I got to link up with Rush and hang out with him for a couple of hours. So like you were talking about with like knowing Chris from the other side of the country, every time I've met these folks, it's been like I met Ivan Strong the other day when I went to the Fever playoff game. So it's these human beings that I genuinely want to see thrive and succeed, and just being in community with them holistically. That's the best part of NBA Threads. And then the other piece is every time a random NBA connected person ends up in my mentions, like Anthony Edwards replied to me one day. That was crazy. Asia Wilson retweeted me one time. Reposted me one time. Old habits die hard. Just today, Chelsea Gray responded to a question that I asked on like, what kind of world are we living in where we get that level of engagement? Like, so between direct access to players and direct access to tremendous friendships, that's the moments.
Hey, I've said it before, say it again. One of the best follows that you can follow on Threads is Doc Thompson for a myriad of reasons. Once you're there, you will find something that you like, yeah, this is a great follow. I'm happy I followed.
Let me say that one more thing is the fact that y'all call me Doc slays me, because I am not a doctor. And I hope you all know that. I'm doctor like Rivers is what I like to say.
I'd take my chances with you in a game 7 before Doc. Just throwing that out there. But y'all know the vibes on the BME podcast. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.